Hi, everyone. This is Kwabi. Welcome to another episode of 50 Shades of Over 50. And I have a fabulous guest with me. Her name is Wendy Euler. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. We've had some fits and starts here, so I'm so glad
Yes, we've
we're
been trying to
finally
connect for a while, and
we
we
did
did. We
it.
made it happen.
We did it. Yeah. So good. So good. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me,
Oh,
Claude.
you're welcome. So the first question I have for you, and this is a question I ask all my guests, is how old are you?
I'm 54. I'll be 55 in February. Double digits.
Oh, okay. So
I
we're
can't wait.
same year. I'm
When's your
68.
birthday? Oh,
March.
we're the same.
Yeah.
What? March what?
March 6th.
That's my brother's birthday. So yeah, wow. We're 1 week apart, 1968.
I know, right?
I feel it. I
There was
feel
a
it.
connection. There was
Yes.
always a connection.
Yes, girl. I love it.
Yeah. So let's talk about this whole aging process. So for you, how was it for you? Did you kind of go into it like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Or you're like, I'm ready for this. Like, what was your experience?
I think like I'm ready for this.
Mhm.
I was loving it, you
Yeah.
know. I felt and I just got asked this question like when was the revelation or the real,
Hmm.
and it just kind of happened naturally for me. I mean, I was 49 when I started Goodbye Crop Top, and I
Hmm.
was just thinking like I really feel great. And I certainly did not want to go back to, wearing the skins of insecurity that I did in my 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
And, I think I've always been kind of willing to let the physical aspect go and
Mhm.
things like that. And because I would rather feel like I feel today. It's a feeling,
Yes.
it's always a feeling.
It's always a feeling. You're
Uh,
right.
and I just I hope this doesn't come off wrong, but I just kind of came into it naturally, grew
And
into
that,
it, and
and
really
it,
was embracing my age. Yeah,
but you know the thing, I love what you're saying because everyone comes to it differently. So it's okay that that's how you came into it because
totally.
that's the truth for you. That's your truth. And for others, it might be different. But one of the reasons why I'm having conversations like this is to inspire other women because there are some women out there that are like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, what? And so they can hear stories and be inspired in some way. Like, oh,
And that's why you do what you do and I do what I do, because I
yeah.
realized, and through friends telling me and other ways, that not everyone was feeling like I feel and you
Mm,
feel. So
no, you're right.
I think I don't know you're the driving force or the impetus behind why you started, what you do and what
Mhm.
you're doing. But um, yeah, I mean, I just felt like the more of us that are feeling really good about aging should talk about it and
Yes.
share that and help others. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think there needs to be more of us doing this. And for me, my background was just before I turned 50, I decided to like kind of speak with other women who are already in their 50s. I was like excited and I
Yeah.
wanted to get advice. And I was disappointed because more like heartbroken, really, because most of them said they felt invisible and it's like nothing to get excited about. It's like it's really terrible. They painted this whole doom and gloom story for me. Majority of them did. A few didn't, but majority of them did. And I'm like, what? And it was just I kept hearing all of that, there was something in me that kept saying, okay, Quavi, you can be the change, you can make a difference. I kept hearing that in my head. And that's how I started this. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I can make a difference. I can get more people realizing that doesn't have to be their story. And I know society does their own thing. They're like over 50 women, they want to put us in the corner. They don't really want to, that's okay. But I don't have to follow that story.
That's right. That's right. And I am seeing a bit of a shift. I think we
Yes.
are getting louder. And when I
Yes.
started this almost exactly 5 years ago,
Mhm.
November, 5 years ago, no one was talking about it. And that's why,
True.
I come from advertising and marketing and media, and I couldn't find what I was looking for anywhere, because, and I say this a lot, Quavi, but I feel like
Mhm.
we need to say the same things over and
Yes.
over and over and over until
Yes.
it's heard to get this narrative and this thinking change.
Yes.
But I saw a lot of women my age. First of all, to back up, I like you just had it, just get it, start talking, Wendy, start writing, start speaking about it. I kind of
Yes.
have that internal guidance as well. And then a
Yeah.
few friends just saying, you have to do
Yes.
this. But I was seeing women who were our age or late 40s or whatever, that wanted to look 30, be 30, dress 30. And let me be clear, I don't care what you wear. I wear crop. My sweater today is kind of cropped. Like
Yeah.
it's a joke, goodbye crop top. It's a metaphor, you know.
Yes, of course.
Wear what you feel best in.
That's
Um,
it.
yeah. And but either people, you know, women our age going, how do I look 30? Well, you're never going to look 30 again.
Just
And
one.
really it's like going backwards because there's so many reasons behind that, you know, the patriarchy
Of
preying on
course.
women
Yeah.
and preying on the weak, if you will. And we're not weak. I don't mean it like that, but
Of course.
at a vulnerable time
A
in
time in our state. Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
and then over here was I'm gonna throw in the towel because I'm going through menopause or my husband left me or da, 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 da,
Yeah. The kids are
da, da, da.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And let me be clear. Life gets a lot harder. It doesn't get easier,
Yeah.
but we get better and stronger. You know,
Yes.
our lens changes. So anyway, I decided to just go, wait, let's fill this middle here and say like what you're doing. We're doing the same,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
and the
and
more of us that come together and have
yes.
conversations and oh my God, you're such a ray of sunshine. And you know, I talk a lot about hanging around people that make you feel good. It is just
Yes.
paramount to your success in
It
life.
is.
And I don't mean success in any other way, but waking up happy and
And
uh,
feeling it. Yes.
yeah. And what are you putting in your eyes, your ears, your mouth? Like how it's just, it's so important. And you know, I gravitate to women like you because you
Uh,
lift women and we have the same message and
yeah.
there's still a lot of competition. You know, someone asked me recently, who's your competition? I'm like, I don't know because I just do the best I can do and
Yes.
I get content out that I think is inspiring and helpful. And I go to bed at night knowing that. And I
That's it.
don't compare myself. I don't look around. That's the beauty of aging.
That's it. It's like you have that. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. I'm moving on. Doing my
Good
thing.
for you. I,
Exactly.
you know, and I say this a lot too, but I really believe the second you stop judging other people, you know, is when you're free.
I'm telling you, it is like,
When you're not judging others, because
yeah,
with that comes a million steps you've taken to get there, right? Like you
yeah,
don't judge yourself anymore. You're not
yeah,
comparing yourself anymore.
yes,
You're paddling your own canoe. You're on your own yoke.
yeah.
I believe in all those, you
Oh
know,
yeah, I believe in it too. I'm like, okay, you don't like what I'm wearing. That's fine. Okay. I'm cool with it.
exactly.
So
And
that's
I just don't, it's not my life. It's not my job to judge someone else. So
it isn't. It isn't.
if I
It's
could
like,
tell my younger self one thing, it would just be just paddle your own canoe and
yes.
everything's going to be okay.
And
You know?
it works out,
Yeah.
And I love something you talk about, and I talk about this too, where it's like, stop making statements like 50s and you 40. Like, why are you insinuating that younger is better? Like, and people are like excited about it. I'm like, no, can you please stop saying that?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
is there's no positivity in that.
No. And I say that a lot, like 50 is the new 50 because 50 is very different than it was when my mom was 50.
Yes,
So
of course.
50 now is amazing.
I'm
Like
telling you, we've
it is not,
redefined it for
we
real.
are defining it. Like it's not woe is me. And you know, 50 is like 50, man.
50, right?
Like, you know, I love it. I it doesn't need to be, I don't want to be 30 again.
No,
I don't. I
I
really
love the wisdom I've
don't.
accumulated to this point. Like, I'm good, you
I'm
know?
good. Yeah, I got some battle scars, but I wear them proudly. And you know,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's something to be proud of because we've gone
yeah,
through stuff. That's what's made us who we are today. And that's
sure.
why I can make decisions in a very from a different space because I have wisdom,
Yes.
you
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
love it. Now,
So
your article in the Wall Street Journal, I was like, I saw the article. I'm like, yes.
oh, and the Washington Post. Yeah.
Washington Post, I mean, I was
Okay.
like, yes. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness.
That was a real pinch me imposter syndrome moment.
Okay. I
Uh,
listen, I can relate to that.
but I'm trying to just accept it. It was special to me because to me that's just really validation and you know that I'm
Yeah.
going in the right direction and doing the right things. And you know, I'm a Washington Post fan, so there's
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
But it was crazy. I was sitting at my computer one day and I got this email from this woman, said, I'm from the Washington Post. My name is such and such. And I'm like, okay, they want my credit card details. Like, who is this person? Right. So I call my dad, who's a
Mhm.
retired physician, but a
Yeah.
beautiful poet and writer. He's
Oh,
amazing. He's a whole other amazing 86-year-old story.
I
But
love it.
yeah, but I said, Dad, I think this is fraud, but I got this email from this woman, WAPO. He said, oh my God. He looks her up and he said, this is, you know who this is? Like, it was amazing. Right. And I'm
Can I
going,
just say one thing though? Let me
yeah.
just interrupt you here. I just think it is just so lovely that you got this email and you're like, let me call my dad. Just I had to just pause for a second and just appreciate that. See,
Oh,
I'm a
good.
daddy's girl and my dad is no longer with me, but I would do the same thing. So
Oh,
I just I'm like appreciating you doing this.
oh, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's my biggest fan and my best critic, and so honest and so helpful with my writing and everything I'm doing, and
Yeah.
really my biggest fan. And mainly, I knew he would know if this
It
person
was
was
legit.
real. So I write back and I say, like, of course, oh my gosh. And then, okay, great, you're going to be our cover story. And I'm putting this other woman who was fascinating in her own right, this woman called Marlene Simmons, who did the interview. And she's 77 and she worked with Anthony Fauci on the AIDS stuff.
Wow.
She's fascinating. So
Wow.
I'm interviewing with her, and that's a whole other ball of wax. And it went on and on. And, they vet you pretty well, you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, well, they said, we'll connect you with the photo editor of Papa. And I said, oh, I have some new headshots, and
They're
they said,
like,
we're
no.
calling you. You're coming to New York to shoot with Amir Hamjar for your portrait. And I'm like, wait, what?
What?
So it was crazy. The whole thing was crazy. And like, I'm like, okay, I could quit tomorrow. Like that was just like, I don't know. For me, that was just
Oh my goodness.
I
Wow.
get
I'm
like
so glad you
emotions
gave me the
talking
backstory of
about it.
this. Like,
That's
wow.
what it was. Yeah. But it makes me like feel weird and emotional and good.
You
And
know what? But listen, this is
I
how women in their 50s are rocking it. Like, look at what happened to you. Like, that's so exciting. Like,
crazy, right? Yeah. So I don't know what that weird laugh was, but I don't know. But
beautiful.
that's the story. I'm like
Wow.
sweating and blushing talking about it,
Wow.
but
I'm sweating too, but it's okay. I'm like, ooh, I'm
don't we
so
sweat all the time?
excited.
Or anyway, yeah, thank you.
No, but that's exciting. And it's important that we get the message out there. And so for such a reputable paper, getting your our message out there means that part of them believes, part of them is like, okay, there's a shift here. Let's start getting the message out there. So
Yeah, it
wow.
was really interesting because there were a lot of comments, on the actual article,
Hmm.
and most, a lot of them weren't favorable and
That won't happen. Yeah.
angry and sort of. So, my dad said, just don't read those because, and then, I was talking to another friend of mine who's a journalist, and she's like, awesome. That's what you want. You're
True. Good point.
triggering people, like you're getting their buttons, and that's what you want. You
Yeah.
don't
That's a
want
good point.
everyone going, I love you. You
Yeah.
want this
True.
sort of friction and
Yeah.
like, okay, but I did kind of quit reading those and I stayed my environments and my friendly environments of sort of enjoying it more than feeling the backlash.
Yeah, but that was nice. That was like intriguing. So now you have a so on your website, do you have a community of women that you work with, or how does that work?
Okay, so that's just I'm in the process of, I've just hired like social media
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
and someone to work on my website. Sort of, it's kind of outdated at the moment.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I've just been so busy with other things. But I've just sat down and really identified what my plan is for 2023, at
Hmm.
least what I think it is. But I always seem to have to change the direction in
Things
my
will happen.
channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the website's a little behind the times, but Instagram's updated, and
Yeah. So I'll definitely put your Instagram link so
yeah,
that
and
people
then
can
my
follow you.
podcast is coming back
Yeah.
2023, my short
Yeah.
version of
Yeah.
Crocs in
Yeah.
Midlife in it, and that's coming back, which I
Yeah.
really love that because
Nice.
this is fun. Yeah.
Yay. So what were you doing before all of this?
So I had a long career in advertising and
Oh,
marketing.
okay.
Yeah. So I started out in right at the beginning of I started out in radio advertising sales in San Francisco
Hmm.
in the mid 90s with yellow pages, no cell phone, no computer, hit
Oh,
the
yeah, I remember that. Oh, wow. Yeah.
sell ads to car dealers and no money, 100% commission. And it was brutal, but I just worked and worked and worked till I got that kind of, I won't go into detail, but I got one really big sort of break. I mean, I worked
Yeah.
hard, but it happened
Yeah.
and then everything shifted and
Shifted. That
years
happens.
off. And that was really good. And then I saw the writing on the wall about, things switching to online and .com
Hmm.
and this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I moved up to Seattle from San Francisco at the end of 1999, and I just emailed this company called allrecipes.com, and I said, "Hey,
Oh, yeah.
we're brand new. There are like 10 people there." And I said, "Hey, I'm a big fan and I sell radio advertising, dabbled a little bit in online, but I really want to switch over." And I got a note right back saying, "We are hiring our first ad salesperson like right now." So
Oh,
long story
wow.
short, I went there, and there's some crazy stories within all that. And then I had my babies, and then I left and came back. They recruited me back to,
Wow.
I was there for a few years, and then I went to Microsoft, a couple other places, and then they recruited me back to head up their international advertising sales. So
Oh,
I was the director of
wow.
international ad sales and flew all over the world and
Wow. Nice.
trained ad sales people. It was really fun. Yeah. And
Yay.
then I took a couple years off, and then I started this. Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Lots
Love,
of
love,
great
love.
stories in there, but we'll save
Yeah,
them.
I know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So cool. You know what, Wendy? Thank you so much for coming on. So before we go, tell me something you want to share with the audience, because I know there's someone probably listening that just feels like, you know what, my life is just over. And what can you share with them to kind of help them with this new journey
Uh,
that they're on?
I mean, I'm not a psychologist or a mental health professional or anything like that. So putting that on,
Yeah.
prefacing this with that, I would say start small and get back to basics, because I think everyone is looking for a big quick fix, whether it's in a pill or a bottle or a whatever. And really what you need to get going is free. Move your body, drink your water, have some kind of spiritual practice. I believe that's very important. Who are you hanging around with? Find at least one person that
That's a
lifts
big
you up
one.
and hang around with that person. you know what are you reading, what are you listening to? I think just my advice to everyone, and I get these questions a lot: how do I feel better, what do I do? I'm like, just go back to the basics, start there, start with one thing.
Yes.
Start with one thing, start moving your body every day, even if it's 10 minutes, and then
Yeah.
do that for a bit, and then add your water, and then add your spiritual like, just identify those things that need to be in place first
Yeah.
before you look anywhere else.
Yeah. I agree.
That makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much for what you're doing. It's like amazing the work that you're doing, and just being a bright light out in that world where people are thinking like, oh, we don't exist anymore, we're invisible. You're like, nope, we're here, and this is how we show up. So thank you for
Oh my
doing that.
gosh, Bobby. Well, you're doing the same thing. So thank you for your
Thank
bright
you.
light and being
Thank
a bright
you.
light for me and for having me.
Thank, thank you. All right. And thank you all for listening. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching an episode of 50 Shades of Over 50. I invite you to join our online community called Flourish, a community created exclusively for women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. A place where you'll get to pursue your passion and live your purpose with other like-minded women. If you're not sure what your purpose or passion is, not to worry. I share tools to help you with that. Flourish is the best place to learn, grow, and have fun if you're in your 50s and beyond. Go to www.kwavi.tv/flourish to learn more.